Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown, along with Ryan Graham
Hey.
and Tim Thurber.
What up, what up, what up?
And this is State of Atlanta. So I've had a few before starting this, so I don't know why the one thing I say at the same time every week is the one thing I can't get right whatsoever at all.
Hard, man. It's hard, right?
Apparently so. How's everybody doing? How's everybody holding up?
I just want to go to work.
Right?
I want to commute. I don't know.
Just get out of the office. Get out of the house.
Just get in the car and like drive to work and back every day.
I thought about just doing a lap around 285, like put the kids in the back and just like go for a drive around. I mean, it wouldn't take.
I did consider that. And gas is cheap.
Gas is going down.
Gas is cheap.
Yeah. Other than a couple of trips to the grocery store or some curbside pickup, I have not been driving at all. So I don't know how old our gas is at this point. I'm not sure if that's a problem.
Yeah. Probably not for this amount of time.
That's actually one of the big complaints I see about the zombie stuff, whatever, like when they're like siphoning gas from cars 2 years into the thing. They're like, no, it would have evaporated by then. You would have no gas in your car. So zombie movies are so like unbelievable.
Well, I actually pulled my lawnmower out and didn't work, and I had to do some small engine repair because I didn't winterize anything, and my gas screwed up my engine. So
that's good. That's fun
yeah,
stuff.
Vaguely related, but I had to learn small engine repair. I had to replace the carburetor on my lawnmower.
But nowadays, learning something like that is just pulling up a YouTube video and following along with the other guys doing, right?
It was really difficult the first time I tried to do it. I actually cut my hand open. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. When I was trying to troubleshoot it. And then when I actually replaced it, I sort of knew what I was doing because I had already like taken the whole thing apart and cut my hand open. So I like learned, you know?
Oh,
You're like, don't do whatever I did that cut my hand open.
Yeah.
Silver lining about this whole thing is you're learning small engine repair. Maybe
that's right.
In the real zombie apocalypse, you can actually be the thing you bring to the table. It's like, hey guys, I can repair a lawnmower that we can turn into a zombie slaughter device.
That's right. Spark, air, and gas. That's what you need.
I spend way too much time thinking about what I would buy in the zombie apocalypse, and that's the reason why I spend so much time is because I haven't figured out exactly what it is yet. So,
well, you've got a safe basement.
You do.
Maybe so. Anyhow, let's get into it. So, continuing this whole talk about this whole coronavirus thing, whatever. I'm calling it Coro.
Okay, why?
I don't know. That's what I called it once.
What's row?
Coronavirus.
Oh.
Like you're from the west side?
It's Coro. I don't know.
Coro.
But just one thing I saw, some celebrity, I think it was Gordon Ramsay, had like tweeted out how like frustrating, how horrible it was being stuck in his house with his kids. And they're like, he's in a $4 million like compound, like, you know, he's complaining about it. I don't care how many zeros are at the end of the value of my house. I'll probably be complaining about being stuck in my house with my kid for weeks on end as well. Like he gets a pass on that. I don't care.
I don't know, man. As soon as you can say like your kids have a wing of the house, like you're done complaining because you just send the kids to their wing.
Well, maybe if they're older, but like, you know, like Ryan, you know, with our kids' ages, that's not something you can really do. You can't just lock a toddler into a wing of a house and be like, you know, I padded the walls all up to 4 feet up. You should be good.
Can't you?
Go for it.
Could.
Maybe he has someone he could hire to clean up everything afterwards, but no. I'm going to give a pass on that. That's just my take on it. But I guess on the upside, they said today that New York's like may have peaked or has plateaued or something. So
they're hopeful.
Yeah, so it's looking good there. So hopefully an end will be in sight sooner than later. But
well, one of the things I noticed in the data, and we won't get into stats too much, but the number of cases is rapidly rising in Georgia, but the number of deaths like just isn't the same way. And so I'm like, well, maybe we're just testing more, you know?
Right.
And that
we're getting tests. I saw that there was a CVS in Georgia that is now doing drive-through testing. So
yeah.
Once you get more testing going on, you're going to get more cases.
Right.
But if you have, you know, fewer people dying from it, then you have fewer people dying from it, which is a good thing.
Right.
But, so a couple of things are how this is affecting, you know, sports both college and pro a little bit. I wanted to talk about before we got into some things that are Georgia State specific. Well, I guess the only thing that's really Georgia State specific right now, like directly, and it's not even that direct, is the next sport that could possibly get postponed is the Canadian Football League. So Arbuckle gets his big contract, his big start and everything, and now he's like, oh, maybe later this year, maybe next year, I don't know. So I feel bad for him, but other than that, there's nothing really directly related to anything new related to any Georgia State current or former athlete that I think is affected right now.
Well, I wonder what his guarantee is, because that really starts to matter, right?
Yeah, I don't know how theirs work. I think I was watching something that the way Major League Baseball works is if the season doesn't start, the league's under no obligation to pay them. Whereas I guess that's different with some other leagues and everything, like NFL or Major League Soccer or whatever. But yeah, so the baseball, we'll talk about what Major League Baseball is doing a little bit later on. But some things I saw. Hopefully, Canadian football, this thing can get wrapped up enough that Canadian Football League can do something. And there's barely anybody up there, anyways, so it's not that big of a deal.
I think there's plenty of people up there now.
Oh, hey, yeah. I mean, I watched a few of the games last year when he was playing, so they do get crowds at the games, but they're just like they're all from the same place, so they're probably all gonna get it anyways. You know, they'll go to the same grocery store. So in Canada, right? I mean, they seriously they're massively large in land mass, and they have these little place where they have cities, and like that's it. There's like nothing around it, so
yeah,
they could literally quarantine themselves by saying, "Don't leave your city," and like just close off the entrance and exits to the city for anything other than transporting goods, and they could live their lives as normal. I think they'd be fine.
Just shut it down.
Yeah. That's an informed insight on the whole topic. So Canada.
I mean, that seems pretty simple, right? I
mean, makes sense to me.
Stay home.
Pretty sure science is on your side.
I don't know any science that would refute it at all, but just looking at the NCAA as a whole, there's a lot of people posting ideas and opinions and stuff. And when I came up with the idea of doing this podcast, it was not to come up with some like really clever and original ideas of my own to share with the world. It was to take those original ideas that others have and poo-poo on them for how stupid they are.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a few of those. I guess there was one thing I thought. A 24/7 article came out, and they were talking about starting football in the fall, but finishing it in the spring. I don't know what that accomplishes, unless it's just avoiding bad weather.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think if they have to push it back, then it makes a little bit of sense. But we already start in the fall.
Yeah, exactly.
They mean like later in the fall?
What you said, take off December or something. Take off December and January. It doesn't make. I don't understand why they would actually just break up the season at all. Well,
it could be that they just push it back because, like, right now that
was not the topic of the article, because there are articles where they talk about, and the league has actually said they're considering pushing the start of college football back to the spring of 2021. This article was start in the fall and then finish in the spring.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah,
how do you do bowls?
I don't even know if I read the article or not. I didn't put any notes down on it. So I probably did.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's kind of weird we're even giving it airtime. It's such a terrible idea.
Yeah. Well, actually,
no offense, man. No offense.
I put stuff down here. Got to have something to talk about this week.
Right? I know it's been rough.
And then my favorite of the stupid ideas was, and to give the guy credit or whoever the team was, they put a lot of effort into there, and they basically said eliminating 2 games from everybody's schedule. And they went through all 130 teams and figured out which 2 games you could remove. Problem was, it wasn't like removing a home and an away from everybody. Like Georgia State, their plan for us was to lose 2 home games. And I'm like,
right.
No. But it's not like we were losing the first 2 games of the season. We were losing, I think, I can't remember.
It's Murray State and East Carolina.
Yeah, so the first game and like the 4th or 5th game or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So if we can play in week 2, so if we're going to miss Murray State week 1, okay, well that means we're not cool about everything. But if things are good by week 2, why would you skip any other games? If it's okay to have tens of thousands of people in the stands, week 2, why can't you do it in week 3, 4, 5, 6 to the rest of the season? Which
Right.
is the stupid thing about having the fall season start and then finish in the spring. Once you can have a full stadium, why would you ever just like say, oh, now everything's going fine, but let's just not do something for a while?
Yeah, if you can do it, you can do it. It's
Right.
it's a 1 and a 0. It's you turn it on or off.
But that's why delaying the spring at least makes some kind of sense. All right, we're not comfortable with having tens of thousands of people together, or at least having people traveling or something like that. But to start something and then break it up, that makes no sense to me at all.
What's 1 week going to do delaying the season start realistically?
Yeah, so if we get to that Saturday, that September 2nd or 1st, I think it's a September start this season because everything's pushed back or whatever. But
Right.
we get to that Saturday, and they're like, no, guys, not safe. But next week,
Safe.
totally cool. 7 days later, totally fine. We know that for a fact. I mean, we're going to know when we're going to what's going to happen month or two at least ahead of that, because I think they're saying July 1 is like the drop dead date that we need to know what's happening.
I think I heard an AD say they needed a month.
Yeah, I saw 30 to 45 days.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah.
But they're going to have their season. I am not concerned about that. Like with a lot of the things that dropped off, like March Madness, like they didn't have a lot of time to figure out what the best route was. And I think that, like, you know, NCAA, they have plenty of time to be like thinking of the right options, and they're gonna get their money.
So it's a good point I hadn't thought about or wasn't going to bring up at all. But since you said it, do you think, knowing what we know now, they should have finished March Madness, or the right call was to stop it when they did, or maybe even sooner? I have no idea what Tim's opinion is.
Stop it sooner. They shouldn't have played any of the conference tournaments.
How soon should they have stopped? They just like never even play game 1 of any conference tournaments?
Yeah.
Test everybody and don't have a crowd.
So I guess my question was going to be, well, what if they played the games but did the whole no fans in the stands?
But you got to test the players too. And if anyone
Right.
comes up positive, then you can't let them play.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
So I mean, but that would have been the right thing: is test all the players and don't let a crowd in.
And as soon as you start disqualifying a player for something like this, then that kind of just all right. So now you're going to have
That team gets screwed.
starting
right?
5 of like a 1 seed. I'll have it. So they've made the tournaments. Now they're playing with backup players, and you have your mid-major who's been killing it.
Like the Atlantic Sun win the whole NCAA tournament because they're the only team that stays healthy.
That sounds incredibly exciting.
It would be interesting, but there would be some really bitter people out there. So yeah, it's like some of the ideas that have come up that I'm like, that would be horrible, and I would love every second of it. Let's see. So I guess right now the current talk it's come out, at least it's been rumored, the NCAA is talking about potentially moving the season starting in the spring. What do you guys think?
Starting in the spring, that's a big push. I mean, I think this thing's going to blow over. They can start, closer to winter time, like
at worst.
Yeah, like I don't think they need to push all that far. And there's no reason you can't play football all the way through. Like we do, professionals do it. They play in the worst time of year already.
Well, there is one thing that has to be worked out is some stadium schedules. Teams that like while we used to play in the Dome.
Right.
You start moving everything. Well, the Dome was committed to not only Falcons football, but also other things going on throughout the weeks. And so then you start bumping things and, all right, well, we're scheduled to play this team this week. Do you move it to a Friday? Or there would be a lot of logistics going on about just pushing things back just even one single week across the league. But the thing about the spring that I find entertaining or interesting is, so I don't know what the NFL is going to do, but let's assume the NFL at worst case delays start by 4 weeks or something. All right. So the NFL finishes up, their Super Bowl is in early March. And then, so spring rolls around, college football starts. Let's assume the XFL pushes their football back until at least closer to the end of college football. We could go from January through December and like have a honest to God 12 months of either college or professional football playing.
And then that's just the new normal.
I'm all for it. That would be awesome. That'd be fantastic.
Laurie would not allow me to be a football fan.
So if football had 162 games like baseball, you would not be allowed to be a football fan at home?
She was already upset that the AAF or whatever was becoming a thing because she was like, I didn't sign up for football during the spring, you know? I'm like,
Right.
oh, well.
Then
I didn't watch any of those games anyway, so what are you complaining about?
I watched a couple of them.
The article you read, did it talk about how they're going to handle bowls and stuff like that? Or
No, it was literally just rumors saying that, sources say, that NCAA is talking about starting the season. I would assume, though, if you're doing something that drastic that, maybe all the bowls don't happen. You do just the playoffs, maybe some signature bowls or something like that.
May bowls.
Yeah.
All be in May.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. But that would also have a big impact on sports all around. There is the financial impact because you're delaying revenue big time for a lot of these schools. Another 6 months now, basically 8 or 4 months or something like that, which would impact all the other sports the schools do because for the most part, football carries most programs,
right?
Especially the blue chips and everything. But and then scheduling as well. So you have your football going on in the spring. How does that impact your basketball and your baseball and all the other sports that were getting ramped up right as this whole thing started this year? And then what happens to 2021 fall football? These kids don't get a full time to recover and get ready for all that or get ready for the draft. It'd be a lot going on, but I think it'd be fun.
They can handle it. They're young, right?
A good unique experience. So, but speaking of the financial thing, there was a lot of talk about how some schools literally could not recover from this, and there's a potential that some schools could drop to FCS to save face and be able to compete. Which I'm like, I get it. This is unprecedented, but if you can't handle a delayed season, whatever, maybe you shouldn't have been FBS in the first place.
I mean, that's supposed to be the whole differentiation anyway. It was like the FBS schools were pulling away from the FCS schools, and so they split up because of resources. It's like high school, 5A and 4A and all that stuff. And it's about resources and breaking people up so that they're not having to compete at the same level. And so, if you can't already, ULM has no budget and they can't compete. So, maybe they shouldn't.
Right. Well, I think it was actually basketball, which is what really created FCS because they wanted to keep the Division I basketball teams in a competition together. But the low-tier football programs were in nowhere competing with the higher tier. So that's why FCS became a thing. That's why you had Division I-A and AA, which was incredibly confusing FBS and FCS later on.
Yeah, now everybody's like FCS is D2.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. But the biggest thing about talking about schools with this financial impact was an interesting article came out about Old Dominion and how Old Dominion is really taking a hit already with everything. They've already dropped men's wrestling as a program as of this week or this past week, I guess. They've been doing men's wrestling for 63 years. And they've dropped it as a sport because they can't fund it already. Or at least they're projected to not be able to fund it already.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it was a really cool article about the whole thing. They talked about they've lost $2 million a year since under joining under Conference USA, I guess with football. Conference USA is even paying less. They can't continue to support 17 sports, and 16 sports are required for FBS eligibility, which is a rule that I had no idea existed. And their president or AD, I'm not sure which one it was, I think it was the president, actually had the quote, "Conference membership decisions need to be made." So they may want to leave Conference USA, and obviously
they may have to, yeah.
Because with Conference USA's footprint being as large as it is across the country, they say I guess it's Conference USA is Dallas based, and they go as far as El Paso. That the travel expenses are way too high for Conference USA. Really, that only option means that they would move to Sunbelt.
I was going to say, I think a couple of years ago, I would have said, let's make a trade with us. But I don't even want to go to Conference USA anymore.
No,
but I do think that Old Dominion moving to Sunbelt would be a good thing for the Sunbelt.
Yeah, maybe switch Texas State and them or something.
Well, I don't think you drop any members unless Monroe just decides that they can't play football anymore.
It
Well,
could
just to
happen.
keep the numbers even, though.
Right. Well, I mean, American doesn't have even numbers, and that's not an issue.
That's
So,
true.
They even got a waiver for a championship game with only 11 members. So
For now.
yeah, but I'm saying but this is Old Dominion is just one example. So if Old Dominion is having this kind of problem, and their budget, their revenue, it's more than they would be the highest revenue in the conference in Sunbelt if they moved. I think
Right.
we're at like 44 million. I think they're at 50-ish, or so they were like 6 million ahead of us, and we're the top in the Sun Belt as it is. So if that's affecting them, there's a lot of schools that could be making this similar decisions. And honestly, I'm okay with some schools dropping down to FCS. There's probably too many schools in FBS as it is. You look at the Sun Belt, how many schools have become FBS within the past 5 years? And I know that we're one of those. Or is it 5 years? I know we're one of them, but
yeah, I think it was 125 for a long time, and right now it's 130. So
Right.
number of schools.
yeah, it went down when UAB had to drop out for a year.
Do we even count that?
Yeah, what a mess that was. And then Liberty made it to even 130. But so there could be, depending on how long this goes, there could be a big conference realignment that's unexpected. I don't think you're seeing like your Power Fives probably won't have any issues, but the G5s may have a lot of mix and match and things going on.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get the massive realignment that everyone on the CSN BBS wants.
Or maybe it ends up being that final breakaway that separates P5 from G5s, and we have some separation of not division, but like
D1
back to 1A, AA, and AAA or something like that.
So you have D1 FBS, P5, D1 P. It's hard for me to even do. Yeah. D1 FBS G5.
They'll just come up with completely new names so everyone gets everything confused further.
FBCS, FBS, and FCS. Football Bowl Championship series, because they're the only ones that play. All those teams are the only ones that legit have a shot to play in the Football Bowl Championship.
Right.
And then it would be the G5s and the Football Bowl subdivision, and then you've got your Football Championship subdivision, meaning that we would be the only ones without an actual championship.
Yeah.
Which means they do end up having one of those, and they got to change the names.
And it would be really crappy because, like you don't even get the super marquee games that pull people in, you know?
Right.
So, it's just not that exciting.
Well, I guess it would be the big players would play the G5 schools and not play the FCS schools, and then the G5s would play the FCS schools, and so the G5s would be playing both sides of the coin type thing. But you would not have a P5 playing an FCS whatsoever, which I think is like what, Big 10, Big 12? One of them has had the conference has said they're not going to schedule the FCS at all any longer.
Yeah.
So do we have to pay the FCS teams like the P5 teams play?
We already do.
Yeah, we're already paying them. But
don't pay them that kind of P5.
No.
Oh, God,
but Murray State's getting a check from us.
Yeah, that's probably like around $400,000, something like that.
I'd be guessing.
Well, that's
probably.
One of the things they say is, we've got to play the P5, money game to be able to pay for the rest of the season. Well, how about we stop paying a team $500,000 to play Alabama, and we just figure out a way to manage the money that way and do home and homes with teams that are slightly better than us that we could possibly be to win.
Yeah, we say that, but it's funny because we always try to find our way to get to that big, we're going to get clobbered game. We're always excited to go to that game too, as fans.
But so we were playing Alabama this season. We've all three talked about going to that game, but this is our third time playing them. I'd like to go because it's been a while, but I'd love to go to a different school. But I also don't want to fly and travel for a lot of these games. So
I don't want to travel. But Clemson was great. I loved going there, and Alabama has been great.
Auburn will be a fun one when that comes up in a few. We have Auburn on the schedule, right?
We do, yeah.
That sounds familiar. That's easy. That's super easy, right? That's 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a day trip. I did it for basketball.
Yeah.
Well, school shuttle bus, but yeah, still did it. I wasn't driving at all.
It's like Troy, but I've still never been to Troy, right?
Correct. So. Yeah, and as of right now, I don't think I want to go to Troy. They seem to own our number quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
It's could be a shakeout. Even if everything plays according to plan, it sounds like there could be some shakeup of what goes on with all these schools. And maybe it's one of those things where some of these schools realize we don't want to be living on this fine line that, we could be messed up if something else happens on this scale again. And they say, let's reassess and say, let's find a conference that is more regionally lucrative for us. And maybe that means a dissolving of Conference USA and Sun Belt, where schools just all back out and decide to move in together and do something that's more regional advantage for everybody, which I think is not a bad idea either.
No, I think it's like totally makes a lot of sense and is terrifying.
Yeah. Well,
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying because you don't know where we come out on the end.
No, I know.
Right.
It's terrifying because of how reasonable it is. Like that is a giant shakeup that is totally possible.
And it'd be one of those things that it would be like one of those Braves deals, like where you have no idea they're leaving the city until like you wake up the next morning and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we've dissolved all these college conferences and these teams are moving divisions and all our classifications and everything. Like, what the hell? How's this been going on for so long?
Yeah.
We get left with like FIU, Texas State, like this really weird conference where everything's spread out and then we're in the middle.
That's the thing in Atlanta, though, right? Is we are in the middle, so we become, regardless of our quality of play, we become attractive because if people are realigning because they want to find a place that's easy to get to, we're easy to get to from anywhere in the world.
Right.
Anywhere in the country. Even if it is a team playing out in Texas, it's a flight that comes. You can have your players get off the train at the airport and go to the hotel. I mean, you don't have to have a lot of travel expense when it comes to getting to Atlanta. So hopefully we come out in the end, but that comes down to our trust in the leadership. But
hopefully none of this has to happen and everyone just stays put.
I want a little bit to happen, though. I want little something. I mean, because we want to move up.
We do.
We want to move up, and if we're going to move up, we need to have other people either move down or have something else shake out. I mean, I don't think you're going to see additions to Power 5 conferences happening in any way unless there's some realignment of Power 5 conferences. And I don't see that happening outside of Texas deciding they want to start their own conference and invite whoever they want to be in there to
just themselves. Invite themselves.
There's always talk of them leaving and just doing their own thing because they have bajillions of dollars to do whatever they want to do.
I feel like it's not right to get so in depth on realignment without Panthersville on the podcast.
Well, we did a logo talk last week without him, so
Yeah.
True. I say true. I'm just trusting you. I have no idea.
we were talking about the Sunbelt logo.
Wait, you were there.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember that. I was like, I don't remember talking about Pantherhead.
So I actually I made a joke about it just now, but I kind of like the idea of Texas starting their own conference and inviting Georgia State to be part of that conference.
What?
Yeah, I could do a trip to Austin every other year. That'd be fun, right?
Would it
That
be
place
like
is fun.
If I'm gonna
Texas and Texas A&M would also be in this?
I don't know, whatever schools Texas wants. I mean, as long as they pick us, I don't care what other schools they pick. And just don't pick Southern, obviously.
Texas only conference, except for Georgia State, you can come to. Like what?
No, the University of Texas, the Longhorns, those guys.
Yeah. Oh.
They start their own conference with whoever they want because they're Texas and they can do whatever they want, even though they've been crappy at football for the past several years.
All right.
They make $1 billion a year on their crap.
I had a great time in Austin. I would go back
Exactly.
every year. Whew.
Tim, you got what I was saying, right?
Yes.
All right, we'll leave Ryan out of this eventually.
Well, I just was thinking the whole state of Texas, and like it made sense in my head that like the state of Texas would have their own conference because there's enough schools there, you know.
We definitely do. Texas and Florida both have enough schools.
And it'd be a good conference. Like it'd be solid.
Yeah, but then Texas State gets moved up into a better conference, and we don't want that to happen.
No, exactly. So they'd have what? TCU, Texas A&M, and Texas were like the big one. Is Baylor there, or is Baylor in Oklahoma?
Baylor's in Waco, and then SMU.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty good. That'd be definitely a step up for Texas State.
What's the other one? UTSA as well.
Yeah.
The Roadrunners.
Yeah, but they're kind of less than us at this point, right?
Yeah, but they handed our asses to us back when we were like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old.
What's the other one? There's one right on the border, right? El Paso.
Well, there's UTEP.
UTEP. Yeah, UTEP.
Yeah. Then Florida's the same way. State, Florida, Miami, FIU, FAU.
Yeah.
Isn't there a couple more over there, or is that all the FBS?
There's
UCF, USF.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Don't leave them off. National champions, UCF.
Coast, asterisk.
Whatever. If you feel like you have to add it, that's fine.
I feel like they're not a national champion. I can't believe the NCAA even put an asterisk in the book about
it. There's HBCUs too.
When the rules say the winner of the playoff championship is the national champion, then it doesn't matter what any other team does.
Yeah, but there's an asterisk, man. Like,
I don't know
what you want.
Have some fan service or something like that. I don't know.
They have a banner, dude. They bought rings.
I've got a banner.
I mean, there's a banner. They have it like they have letters on their stadium.
Season that says Georgia State national champions just cause.
Well, if you can get them to like unveil it from the top stands, then yeah, it's legit.
Well, sneak.
They didn't just do
the W, the blue W. They drop it, slide it blue.
No.
We'll just have that go down there and be like Georgia State national champion.
First game of the season, we lose it, and we still do that.
To Murray State.
UCF went big time, though. It wasn't just a banner. It was like the official lettering on the stadium, on the mid-level, like national champions.
You've got to do that. You've got to. I mean, I don't take anything away from what they said or did. It's just.
I think there's a license plate.
Why wouldn't there be?
No, I know, and
I'm
pretty sure they gave their players rings.
Well, they get rings.
I'm sure. Why would
No, but I think they gave them national championship rings.
You put whatever you want to put on those rings.
I know, I love it, man. I actually legit love it. Like that they just went hard. They were like, nope, we're champs.
I'm way more okay with them doing all of this, even though I think it's stupid, than I am with Southern Cal when they were claiming a national championship because they went undefeated or whatever the hell they did, but did not make it into the BCS game. And I'm like, you are a member of a conference that agreed that the BCS winner is national champion. It does not matter what that Associated Press poll says. You're not the national champion. And they were going on their whole thing about how they were co-national championships back with Leinart or whoever it was back then. And I'm like, that actually is what developed my hate of USC and Pete Carroll and why I really celebrated Matt Leinart falling out of the league incredibly quickly. So.
All right. Fair enough.
That's pretty deep right there, David.
Yeah.
Emotional person, Tim.
Sure.
He's a multifaceted individual.
I'm a complex individual.
Very complex. So in the Sun Belt, obviously we all think we agree ULM would drop out. Is there anyone else in the Sun Belt that you guys think would drop down to FCS?
Southern should.
Yeah, Southern.
They have their revenue's low.
Yeah.
I think they realize that they being a big fish in a small pond is far better than a small fish in a big pond. But I don't know how much of me saying that is just my own natural bias towards them. Coastal shouldn't be FBS either.
That's what I was wondering what Coastal's budget looks like.
Yeah, I think they're the lowest. Oh, no, Monroe's the lowest. I think Coastal may be the second lowest. But, I mean, and honestly, I don't even know. Their record dictates otherwise, but I don't know if App State should be FBS either. I mean, they've been making the wins, so I can't knock them for whoever at all. But I don't know. We're so misplaced in the conference that it's hard to say anything about that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with the results up at App State though.
They did it right, whatever they did.
Whatever it is, and I just have no clue.
There are two books that need to be written about transitioning to FBS. One should be written about Appalachian State, and that is the way you do it. And then another should be written about Georgia State and the way you don't do it.
I mean, really fast, no planning, and you're in.
It's just there's a coaching tree that comes out of App State now. That I mean, like our coach is in that coaching tree. You know, Like the people talk about the Saban coaching tree.
Our
Like there's an
athletic
App State coaching tree,
Our athletic director is out of App State.
right? I mean, but it's spread throughout the FBS. Like the App State has just created this whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
It's
because
amazing.
everybody wants to echo their success, and why wouldn't you? I mean,
Sure.
but I mean, South Alabama was going along things the same time we were, but at least they came out and said our intentions are going FBS. I guess they were technically already in the Sun Belt, so they already had their invite basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We were in the Colonial, and Colonial said we want everyone that's non-football to just do a study to see if it's viable to have a football program. And we did that, and they said it was. So, all right, we'll do football. But we should have been like, we already had a conference. It's not like we want to start football and try to find an FCS conference to be part of.
Right.
We already had a conference. We were guaranteed an FCS spot. So why not say we want to start football and we want to move to FBS as soon as possible and operate in that direction? But from what we've heard, I don't know how much of it's rumors and hearsay or really the truth, is that originally there was no like even thought of going anything further than FCS, which is such a naive line of thinking in Atlanta, which is in Georgia. It makes sense to me.
I mean, I think, from what I've heard is that we built an FCS roster. And Ryan, I mean, you were doing recruiting reporting before, right? So we were building an FCS roster. We weren't going for FBS caliber players at first, right?
No, I mean, I think there was always an intention to go for the best players available. I never saw anything like we didn't go out of our way to spend time on people that we knew we weren't going to get, like 4-stars and things like that. But
right.
I definitely would say that I felt like nobody was pulling their punches.
Well, like Southern was for decades before we had football. They were telling their recruits that we're 2 or 3 years away from going FBS, basically saying, come commit to us, come play for us, and before you graduate with your, I don't know, hay baling degree, whatever the hell degree you get down in Statesboro, you'll have, you'll be on an FBS program playing the big boys. And we never even talked to my knowledge, we never talked to recruits about, hey, our intention is FBS. Before you graduate, you'll be in an FBS team.
No, but we've been competing with Georgia Southern since the beginning. I mean, we've really been out recruiting them. But the problem is they, because they have the gimmicky offense, they get to recruit athletes at quarterback that nobody else expects. They get to recruit undersized offensive linemen.
But even other schools, there's plenty of schools that are advertising that they're recruiting with these promises that were totally far-fetched at the time.
So basically they were like shyster used car salesmen.
Well, if you can say that, but they win FBS. So
they did eventually, but I guess.
I was really surprised that when they moved up. I bought hook, line, and sinker into what the others were saying, Panama, and saying that they were never going FBS. I bought into that. So when they got it, I was like, world devastated, destroyed.
I like it. I'm into the rivalry.
And I don't. I hate that I even talk about them. But I feel like you can't talk about Georgia State right now without talking about those pieces of garbage down south. So.
I know, and I think that is beneficial to us.
It was when we were up on them by 2 games.
Yeah.
Hey, it was a good run for a while, right? I mean,
hey, we make it sound like it's over, Tim. Come on, man. We got
now we have to make another run. That's all.
That's right.
I mean, starts this year.
You just got to do your job, That's all.
Because we're playing college football, right? It's happening this year.
Yeah, it's
got to do your job.
One way or the other.
Has to happen.
Win.
So talking about how professional sports, take a little deviation from all this, how professional sports are reacting to the whole co-row day and age is, so the NFL has announced they're doing their draft completely virtual, and they're not even allowing coaching staffs to be at the football facility, at the team's facilities to do the drafts. All coaches will be at home. on their own computers, their own speakerphones, their own whatever, because not all teams have the same type of facilities to handle the communications and everything. So this could be the most entertaining NFL draft in a long time.
Is it going to be like?
Oh, go ahead.
Is it going to be like the XFL draft where they like put up a spreadsheet and they just live stream like an Excel spreadsheet?
No,
like making their.
It's not. So this draft was already going to be awesome because it was going to be when it was going to be done live. It was going to be in Vegas, and they were going to set up a stage in the middle of the water, the Bellagio fountains that do the thing. They were going to set something up over there, and then
wait, that sounds so safe. Like that's social distancing to the max, right? I'm on a fucking island. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oops.
And
I was drinking before the podcast.
You gotta drink to put your kid to bed, right? Make the suffocation way easier. But no, so they were going to put the stage out in the middle of the fountain at Bellagio, I guess, so the fans could like line the street and everything to watch this. And then the hotel rooms would be these war rooms. I guess all the teams have war rooms in the hotel, and then you have your players that are expected to go first would all be in some conference room, and they were going to actually get them on a boat to go out to the stage to do their little hang up my number one shirt and everything. And I thought that was going to be awesome because you knew some players were going to be jumping in that water, which is going to be awesome.
Sure.
They may have found a way to make the draft even more awesome by doing it virtual, because EA is looking at actually doing a virtual, the player walks up there to hang the whole deal up. It'll be like watching a Madden draft.
So like hit play in a video or something.
Exactly. And you'll see this player walk up and like, yeah.
Wait, when is it?
April 23rd or April something.
Wow, that's coming right up.
Yeah, it's not that.
They don't have a lot of time to make all those videos.
Well, I mean, in the IT arena, a lot of that is just slap the skin on a different model and have it do the whole same thing. Go with 5 or 6.
Just using the paint bucket, right? So fill it with a different color.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they should do it on Zoom to get someone drop in and start playing porn during the NFL draft.
Oh, there you go.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened in our podcast.
I'm really surprised too.
Well, we've paused it from when people have had to use the restroom, and unlike that you see that video clip of the office meeting where the woman just picks up her laptop in the middle of her meeting and like goes to the bathroom. And, like, sets it down, drops trowel, and it's pointing like right at her. Doesn't realize.
There's another video circulating out there where there's a guy doesn't realize that he's on video. He's wearing a shirt but nothing beneath. And he gets up and he starts walking around, pacing.
So I guess what basically this is these people have been doing these Zoom conference meetings all the time. Like my company does these Zoom meetings all the time, but we've never done video because normally it's like half of us are in the office and the other half are on a conference, a phone call, whatever. So it was never a big deal. But now that we've been going longer, our company is actually encouraging us to do more video just so people get that interaction, that social interaction time.
Yeah.
And so people are used to carrying their computer with them to the bathroom or standing up and pacing and not worrying about it. Nope. The funny part is watching the other panels when this stuff happens and like seeing the people that have no idea it's happening and find that one person in the background is like the entire time.
That's good.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I was on a podcast last week, and I was asking them, like, you're not gonna make me put on pants for this or anything, right? Like, of course not. But none of it was video, so that was good.
Well, I think the joke with even the ESPN guys and whatnot is that they're all wearing like their nice suits or whatever, and then like just like cargo shorts or gym shorts underneath it. So.
Yeah, I wear my Georgia State plaid pajama pants most days right now. And, even if I'm wearing like a polo up top, I'm usually wearing that down below. I'm wearing jeans right now. It feels really nice to be in like regular clothes. But I'm like, I get up and I'm like, it's pajama pants, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I've actually gotten to the point where I feel like I need to dress like I'm going to work, or not necessarily as like, wearing the polo or whatever. But I feel like I need to, get up in the morning and get that shower done and like put on the clean clothes, not like the crap I was wearing last night before going to bed or something, and just to have that sense of normalcy to me.
Yeah.
Sure. But So that's the NFL. That'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll get a lot of laughs on that. Major League
I
Baseball.
kind of want to watch now because it's going to be virtual.
Oh, I'm definitely.
How
I'm
they
definitely
do
watch
it.
it. I'm actually going to do a Zoom video with some of my Falcons friends. Watch it live if you want to hop in on that, Tim. So
Yeah, definitely.
if you want to.
I mean, it's the only thing sports we're going to be able to watch.
Right.
We're
Exactly.
going to be like glued to it, even though it's kind of boring at some
I
point.
always watch the first round of the draft, anyways,
Right.
and sometimes the second round, especially depending on where the Falcons are in the whole thing. But I'm watching this one. This is the cool thing. The silver lining about everything is we're witnessing history. We're going to see once in a lifetime type weird reactions to everything, and as bad as it sucks, because it sucks pretty bad. Is just being able to have these memories and being able to tell the kids or anybody else who asks about it later on what it was like during these weird times. Hopefully they're weird times. Hopefully we don't do this every few years.
Hopefully we don't do this next year, and this isn't seasonal.
Ever again.
2022. We're still trying to get the 2020 season played.
Right. We're gonna make it up. Damn it.
Exactly. So another interesting thing is Major League Baseball apparently has announced, or it's come out, that they are exploring playing all their games, at least what I read was all their games, in 1 month in Arizona, inside or outside of Phoenix. It can't be all games. And also with no fans.
Right. That's what I read.
Games in 1 month, no fans. Which, if I'm stuck at home, I forget what month they said they would do this in, August or something like that. I can just put on the TV and just go have baseball games on from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. How great would that be? I mean, I know not big baseball fans, but just after so long of not having any kind of sports on TV at all, that would be great just to have that kind of just marathon of binge watching baseball. You guys are
I
not.
think it's a crazy idea. Like, I mean, everyone would have to be quarantined. All the players, all the coaches, the umpires, all the sports casters, all the video people, like the producers, everyone would have to be quarantined.
And that's what they're saying. They'll have hotels specific to all the players. Anybody that's a ref, anybody that's working the stands for whatever, or the games, whatever, would all be that. They'd all be bussed in. Everyone's going to be tested and quarantined and everything like that. I'm like, all right, then just fly in a reality TV crew. I want to, when the games are over, go back to the hotels, all the players in the hotel bars, hanging out, drinking. Well, yeah, because I did the math on 100. This is why I say they can't play all their games. Teams play 162 games, right? All right. You do 162 games in 1 month, let's say it's 31 days. That's 5 games a day per team. So there's obviously no way they're playing quintuple headers every single day. But they're playing a lot of games. Maybe it's just the divisional games or something. I don't know. But these guys go there just worn out. Like, I've played 8 games in the past 4 days, and they're at the bar drinking, having a good time. That would be some awesome reality TV watching. This is like, what was it, Ed TV or Truman Show, whatever. We were just like
Truman Show,
and every day of their life. By the way,
I don't think anybody in that situation would be allowed to drink.
Yes, like stop them from drinking.
Yeah.
Be the best part of it. By the way, side note: Ed TV way better than Truman Show. If you've not seen Ed TV,
is that Matthew McConaughey?
Matthew McConaughey,
yeah.
and I can't remember the woman's name. Greg and Dharma show. Dharma and Greg show. I can't remember her name. The sitcom girl, woman. Yeah, anyhow, I think Woody Harrelson is in it as well.
Well, that's always a winner.
Yeah, he plays the upset brother and everything. But yeah, Ed TV far better than Truman Show. That's one of those movies that I think this was a Twitter chain going on this week, or maybe it was Facebook. Like, what movies do you scroll through and on the guide, and if it's on, you watch it all the way to the end. So that's your Shawshank Redemption, or your for me, any one of Rockies 1 through 4. That's also one of them is Ed TV. I put that on. I just got to watch it all the way through to the end. It's a great movie. But
I'll check that out.
McConaughey movie I like.
So I don't understand. Like, what do you mean by flipping through the channels? That's not a concept I'm aware of.
You may be a millennial, but you're not that young, Ryan. So that's what baseball is talking about. But the best one. Have you heard about the UFC? What they're looking at doing? They have an island. They have bought an island. They are constructing a facility in there, and they are going to have their matches. And the earliest one is scheduled for April 18th. So that's 11 days away from when we're recording this, where they're going to test everybody before getting there. And it won't be crowds, I don't think. I think it's going to be just the administrative staff, the ref, and the fighters. And they're going to have their own island where they can do these pay-per-view UFC matches because they bought an island. And you tell me this economy is going south because of this whole thing. Somebody bought an island. Economy's doing just fine.
That seems reasonable.
It sounds like the Fire Festival, kind of.
Well, no, it's like they make their money off like pay-per-views, right? Not off of attendance. So they don't go and have like a large number of people anyway. So
no. Well, but they have some packed arenas, and they're obviously getting all kinds of booze sales and stuff like that. But yeah, the pay-per-view is where their big money's being.
Yeah.
Made. But a lot of that pay-per-view is done by some bars and restaurants. But that means that those bars and restaurants can't be open right now.
So they're going to make more money.
Yeah, so those 150 people that went to that bar are now all individually buying it.
Yeah, so even if there's like, they might not even be, but if some fraction of them is, it's
not
still
everyone's not going to do it.
Yeah.
And then even then you have couples that go together, and so they're not going to do it. Right? But yeah.
That's why my neighbor's big into wrestling, and he was saying that they still did WrestleMania or something, and it was just an empty arena.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I heard about that.
I didn't watch it, but it sounds insane.
Well, at this point, I will pretty much watch it. I'm scrolling through the guide on my Hulu TV, so I'm not doing like regular channel surfing, Ryan, but it is a guide. They had all kinds of.
All right, boomer.
Yep. All kinds of sports on there, and I haven't brought myself there because it's like this is the women's basketball championship from 2015. And I'm like,
don't do it.
No,
don't do it, David. Don't do it.
I haven't gotten that. I did put on the 2019 cornhole championship for a while, but that's because I watched it back in 2019, and I just wanted to relive the memory.
It was so good. Yeah.
You ever watch cornhole championships on ESPN? They're
absolutely
great.
not.
I watched it.
No, I'm not saying like turn on for the full 4 hours, but put on at least 2 or 3 hours of it. It's fantastic. Put it on there, and these guys are like serious. And the cool thing is they have college teams. Like this, I saw like University of Florida play University of Michigan in cornhole.
Do they come out to music or anything? Or
the full spread. It's like a NASCAR. They have like their basic bowling shirts with or NASCAR like work shirts with all the logos, all the sponsors, and everything.
Do they have themes? Are they like? Do they come out? Is it like WWE? You know, where they have like a
not exactly. But,
it should be. I mean, like I don't understand.
Wow. I mean, cornhole is that exciting of a sport; it deserves it. You know,
it feels like a missed opportunity. Is all I'm trying to say.
Right now, they're probably looking into it.
Right.
I think for last call, we should talk about some of the things that we're binging.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
We don't need to do it now, but last call.
No, it's fine.
I'm with you on the cornhole though. I watch it.
You do watch? I watch it.
I'll watch like 30 minutes of it, 45 minutes.
I feel like whenever I turn it on, it's always like the end of like a championship round or like an advancement round, and so like I get like the last several throws. I'm really into it, and then as they transition into the next players, there's just all this commentary on their stuff, and I'm kind of like, oh, I just wanted to see people throw bags into holes. Like I end up changing the channel, and then Ed TV's on or Shawshank Redemption. Or Rocky 3, and I'm like, all right. The good thing about Rocky 4, you can watch Rocky 4 in 45 minutes. This movie is just like over. It's the shortest movie of all time.
What about Apollo? Do you watch that? Or Creed?
Yeah, no, but I'm just when the whole trend was what movies that are just on like regular broadcast all the time. That if you see it, and a lot of people were saying Star Wars. I'm like, no, because I own all the Star Wars, so I would just go watch it without commercial interruption. Whatever, but for whatever reason, I own all the Rocky movies. But if Rocky 1 through 4 are on, and I see it, yep,
You're in.
putting it on.
No, but I mean like the newer ones.
Yeah,
right?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're
Can
saying.
you watch those? Are they the same?
They're great. They're great.
Okay, all right.
It hasn't been a thing where it's come up where Creed 1 or 2 was just on TBS. It's like it always comes out that I flip the channels and it's the tail end of Rocky 2, and I'm like, well, that's fun. And that finishes like, well, Rocky 3, gotta watch that one. Clubber Lang, my favorite A-Team member.
You're on an island.
God, man, I need social interaction so bad.
Just talk to me.
It's not about social distancing. It's about social interaction.
I walked outside today, and my neighbor was out front, and I like went over, and I just started talking. I like stood on his lawn. I started talking to him. I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't ask you if you wanted any company, but like, I'm so lonely."
Well, it was the first week that we did this, on the video chatting of everything for the podcast. We had a great time. It was good. And then Ryan, you signed off because it was getting pretty late. And then Tim and I ended up just staying up for like 3 or 4 more hours, like just talking to each other, just like
and drinking.
Yeah, I killed that 30-pack that night that I bought that day, and
Nice.
it was just one of those kind of things. Like, I've been around. Love my wife, love my kids. Been around them for the past 2 weeks, and just craving that just social interaction, which is just missing from your daily lives. Like Ryan, you say go to work, which I agree with, but it's also just getting out and doing something else, doing something different than looking at these same 4 walls. So, like
I'm with you.
what my wife has said was, once this all is over and done with, she wants to ship the kids up to the grandparents in New York, and then let me go and do whatever I want, wherever I want. And she's like, she doesn't even want to leave the house. She wants to stay on the couch. She's like, she just wants time away from everybody. It's like, I'll just lay on the couch and nap, or I'll go sew and craft, or it doesn't matter. I want to be around no one for a week.
That's Laurie. She's an introvert, and everybody's like, "Oh, you must love this," and she's like, "No, I'm stuck in the house with people."
I saw her post on Facebook about the whole thing. She's kind of like, you would think this would be like an introvert's like, wet dream basically, and she's like, not if you live with people.
Yeah,
True. I mean,
I'm having to learn, because I'm the type of person, even at work, where like I don't send an email or like a Slack message. If they're in the same office, I walk over and I say something to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'm in the same house, so I generally will go up to her and say something to her, and she's like, "Leave me alone. It's during the day."
Yeah.
Like, just send me a Facebook message. And I'm like, all right, that's just not my style. And she's like, I know.
Yeah. It's
like, this is my alone time. Please just message me.
The question is going to be, like, the real question I think what's going to be for our country or world, whatever, is 9 months from now, what do we have more of, babies or divorces?
Ooh.
There's already, I think, some stats about, and not even all that funny, but like domestic abuse and stuff like that,
Oh, that's not that funny?
Yeah, exactly.
Not funny at all, Ryan.
Well, we were all laughing, so I felt like it was a weird transition.
I have seen a rise in like the domestic abuse, like, just the call for help, like, whatever. Yeah. So
yeah.
And that sucks to be in that. That's obviously the worst position to be in.
When you can't leave.
Hopefully my daughter.
Right, especially right now.
So. All right. We're straying into last call territory, but we still got a lot that I want to talk about that actually is Georgia State specifically related.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So on to football, favorite subject. I think I forgot to bring this up last week, but we would have had the spring game on this past Friday. So big bummer there. I'm missing out on that, missing out on a tailgate and a chance to reconnect with other fans.
We talked about it. We should do like a virtual tailgate. Maybe not at. We record at 9, right? So maybe not that, but let's get some people together, maybe late afternoon during the week, and do a tailgate.
Yeah, or maybe on a weekend or something like that when people are a little bit more relaxed and things. We can try to figure it out and do something.
Yeah.
Or get a few people on here and just have a few drinks, eat a burger or something like that.
We can watch Upset together.
Yeah.
Watch the Upset. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
There was a cool tweet that came out on, I think it was on Friday. The band doing their social distancing playing of the fight song. and I'm pretty sure the audio was just the recording of the fight song, but they had a large number of the band members had submitted videos of them, a flutist playing his part, or a tuba person playing their part, and everything, a trumpet and everything. They combined the whole thing together, and all of them are in their Georgia State stuff. A lot of them with Georgia State stuff in the background. It was a pretty cool little video, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching that. Made up a little bit for having to miss out on hearing the band out there at the spring game. So,
yep.
And then Caesars Palace has put out their predictions for the Sun Belt win-loss totals, or not win-loss totals, but over-unders, I guess. And I'm actually kind of okay with ours. They're predicting 5.5 wins for Georgia State.
I think they're going to lose some money.
Yeah.
Right. I would take the over.
Yeah, I'll take
our
the
rebuilding
over.
year was last year.
That's
year
right.
Should be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well, so we are losing, Dan Ellington, who is definitely in the conversation for best quarterback in school history, in our short history. But I still think
I don't know, man. Bo Schlechter was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. Hey, kicking?
He was a good kicker, yeah.
But no, and actually they have Georgia Southern right there with us at 5.5 as the over/under. And of course, I was looking at the CSN board, Tim, and
Meltdown.
What's that?
Meltdown mode.
Yeah, I always go there looking for horrible content to talk about, and of course they're saying pick Southern for the over and pick Georgia State for the way under. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But App State picked at 10 wins. I didn't look at their schedule at all, but it's a pretty bodacious prediction.
One thing that I get out of that is that Caesars thinks that we're going to have 10 games, so that's good.
Yeah.
So we're 10 games, not 12 games. They're gonna have us do 10 games.
At least 10 games.
Yeah, I felt like that's actually a pretty. I don't want to say a bold or a prediction, but typically we're at the 4 and under range for win predictions.
Like preseason.
Yeah. Especially with losing a quarterback and a star running back. So
yeah,
we're keeping a lot of everyone else.
We have a quarterback from South Carolina coming. We're good.
Well, yeah, Calasandro. Michael.
Calasandro.
Cornerback.
Quarterback.
Quarterback.
We have a quarterback from where?
South Carolina.
It's where our team comes from because we have
the entire team, all the coaches, all the players.
But yeah, he's coming in, and then there's still Cornelius Brown, and there's the guy from Vanderbilt. So the quarterback model is up there. But I thought it was pretty cool. I'll take it. I think they had Louisiana at 10 as well in predictions over under, which I would take the under on that one. But it seems like a easy bet.
I probably take the under on App State too. 10 is a that's I might go start gambling. These sound like good odds.
Well, you can get a flight to Vegas for pretty dirt cheap right now, from what I'm
told. Can I not just email that in?
No. There's laws about that.
All the casinos are closed right now too. So how do you gamble?
Well, you can bet online. There's
wait, I can do it online, but I have to fly there?
No, well, there's betting online, but I haven't figured out how to do it yet because I'm not very smart.
I was gonna say, I'll make sure I'm flying out to Vegas.
Yeah, there you go.
I do have a friend that lives in Vegas.
You gotta go to YouTube to get that content.
I have a friend in Vegas if we want to gamble.
Nice.
I actually got a buddy out there as well. I didn't think about that. So Ben put out a poll on Panther Talk about whether we thought we would. The prediction was high or low or whatever. And so of course Panther Talk is 80% think we win more than 5.5 games, which sounds about right. That's perfect off-season content. But he put the same poll on Twitter, and so it's effectively 50-50, but actually us going under was the tiebreaker there. And I'm like, that's just all the Southern trolls jumping in and voting. Probably share.
Yeah, they all follow Ben. So
that's the thing is Ben is very effective at riling up the Georgia Southern fans, and I would bet like half of his followers are Georgia Southern fans.
He literally made one article before the season started, the first season started, and they all know his name, and they all just want to talk crap about him.
Yeah.
And they bring up that article every single time.
Yeah, what was the claim he made that they're all upset about? I forget.
That Southern would never schedule us because they were scared of us.
Right. Yes.
That was not smart.
I think
They didn't.
We've
only played them because we're in the same conference.
Conference play. That's right. Yeah. So we need to get Ben on here and talk about his affiliation with those trolls of Southern.
I just voted. It's 50-50 now.
Is it literally 50? I think it was 50.5 to 49.5 when I looked at it earlier today.
50-50. 10 hours left, folks. Vote now.
10 hours. Most of our listeners that will
after you listen to this, go backwards in time and vote.
Most of them are probably in bed asleep right now. Won't be listening to this for another 8 hours, but yeah, go do that.
Most likely.
Then another thing that was good, piggybacking onto the well, actually, it's not Packers. It's actually Georgia State. Georgia State posted their top 5 plays in Georgia State's football history. Did you guys watch those clips? You guys keep track of what those plays were at all? Right.
No, but it's got to be Albert with the run back, right?
Nope.
What?
No losses were included in there.
Yeah.
Wait, but a play isn't a loss?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with you, Ryan. I think that's definitely one of the best plays in school history. But
easily.
But
wild.
There was no games that we lost that were included in here. And there's one that's a far stretch, I would say, for a best play because, 26-yard field goals are just not that impressive. So we'll go through the order in which they post them there. One is the first touchdown, the Paris Lee rushing touchdown.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about the past 10 years and that includes our first game ever, yes, the first touchdown in a school that started in 1913, their first ever touchdown, yeah, I'll give it to them. That's definitely one of the best plays in school history. The cool thing was with all of these, they got one of the players involved to come out there and actually do a little description of recalling the play. And
that is cool.
So they had Paris Lee video, and he comes up there, and I thought it was great. He ran in, he fell down, but he didn't know what the call was. And he looked behind him, he saw Drew Little, and Drew Little's arms are up in the touchdown pose, and he's like, I had no idea if I'd made it or not. He's like, and then I heard the dome erupt, and he knew the officials had called the touchdown. And they have obviously there's video of the whole thing, and he's running around happy, and he's pretty proud of being the first touchdown ever in school history, which I think was pretty cool.
I gotta say on NCAA that when we had that the EA Sports football game, I have scored a lot of touchdowns with Paris Lee.
He's a great running back. Yeah. One of the things that did strike me that annoyed me, because I want to bring up that we had then, but I haven't seen a lot of lately, and I'm very happy about that. And I just want to bring it up. They show him do the touchdown. They pan the crowd there. We had those, I guess they're called thunder sticks, those inflatable sticks. I hate those things. It's my least favorite noisemaker in a sporting environment.
Wait, beyond vuvuzelas?
I literally have vuvuzelas in my notes here, and my note says, you're right, vuvuzela's worse. But those thunder sticks, they drive me crazy. I don't know if this...
They're terrible, yeah.
That fad's died, right? I mean, that fad's over. Right?
I don't think so.
Whatever the thing is, I used to have a Georgia Force, the arena football team. I used to have season tickets to them when they played at Phillips Arena.
We had a player go there.
Oh, did we? And
wow.
I forget his name.
They used to have those thunder sticks at every game. I did not renew season tickets because I was sick of hearing thunder sticks at games. It was
is that the Gwinnett Arena?
Yeah, are they even still there?
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't heard of arena football in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, nearby. But so Paris Lee, he's in there, which deservedly so. The second one they posted was the play that secured, they listed as the play that secured our first bowl win. It was a trick play, ended up being a Connor Manning pass to Roger Carter. It was a double reverse flea flicker thing.
Yeah.
42 yards. They say it was the play that secured the win, but the score was 13-10. The final score was 27-17. So it put us up by 10 points. But both teams scored a touchdown after that, so it's not like it was really the
was this Western Kentucky in Orlando? That was our first, right?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, it was Super Bowl. Yeah.
Man, I just have no recollection of that game whatsoever. I
have a lot of recollection of it because I was in Chattanooga.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I have kids. It's a recurring theme here. You'll find out that most of my life is ruined by having kids. So my sister lives in Chattanooga, and I'm not sure if you're familiar. They have this thing called the Chattanooga Choo Choo, and
They do.
for
Yeah.
Christmas they do this Chattanooga Choo Choo ride that goes to the North Pole very quickly, by the way. And so we did that with the kid. I think that was the first year we did it. And so I go after do that. I'm gonna go do lunch with my sister and her boyfriend, and I'm like, all right. Where are we going? It's like, what do you want to eat? Do you want to eat Chinese? Do you want to eat dinner? I'm like, yeah, I want to eat Chinese in Chattanooga. That's exactly what I want. I was like, take me to a place that has the most number of TVs possible. I want to go have this game on so I can watch it. It's like, all right. It's like, well, it's either this bar or this bar. I'm like, all right. Which one has the most TVs? We'll go to this bar. I'm like, all right. We go there. We get there. And they've got a few TVs. It's not bad. I'm like, all right, I want to go to a place where I can get the Georgia State game on the TV. Like, all right, sits at a table. TV is broken over our table, and there's not one in view. So I've got my phone streaming the game. I'm watching us win, whatever. That other bar that you said, this one or that one, we walked past it on the way back to the car or whatever we did afterwards. Place of TVs and every corner of the walls had TVs. I'm like, she was at Tennessee. She doesn't know what it's like to watch a winning team. Anyhow.
You can say that.
Yeah, you can.
I was just totally wasted. I took the bus from
you did the shuttle with the
Yeah, I took the bus from the parking lot at Georgia State Stadium and all the way there and slept most of the morning because it was just really early in the morning when we left. And then I brought some nice cheese, some stinky cheese and crackers and a bunch of beer, and other people brought liquor and stuff, and we just got wasted on that bus, man.
Those bus trips for games are awesome. I was talking about earlier. I went to the Auburn basketball game on the bus trip at Georgia State, and we had the cooler full of booze, and like every 2 or 3 minutes, someone just shouting out shots, and after your 8th or 9th, you just kind of go along with it.
Yep, I was obliterated.
Manning was talking about that play play for the bowl win. Said, first of all, he referred to us as Panther Nation. And we're supposed to be Panther family. Isn't that what the agreed terminology is?
There's, I don't know. I agree.
Nation,
I agree with
we're
you.
Fine.
Yeah.
We're fine. It doesn't matter.
But he did say that when he lined up, they've run that play several times throughout the entire season, and they lined up and he saw the defense and he knew, like, we're going to get this touchdown. It's just going to happen. He knew it.
Quarterbacks always say that.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Man, that was a good time, that game.
I hate that I missed the game.
The tailgating, I mean, I feel like the tailgating in the first game that we lost there was better.
So I tailgated that game with all you guys.
I was not at the Western Kentucky game, so that's why the tailgate was so bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
The first one was San Jose State, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Which I call San Diego State every single time.
Yeah, not that good.
No.
Yeah, no.
The third one they posted was the obligatory post, the Will Lutz 26-yard field goal to beat Abilene Christian 38-37 for our only win of the season. Nick Arbuckle's first game. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a great play because it saved us from having an 0-12 season. Another 0-12 season. Yeah.
I mean,
It-
the silence on the podcast has to speak volumes.
And
were we trying to find like a Will Lutz play?
That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it was. It was them trying to find a way to pay homage to Will Lutz, which I totally get. And Will Lutz is the one that they interview, or he has him like give a couple minutes about the whole thing. But this was Abilene Christian had transitioned to FCS that season. This was their first game playing as an FCS program, which they were probably under probation anyways because it was so new. I get it, but come on, is there not another Will Lutz moment that you could find?
So
he did say it was his favorite memory of playing for Georgia State.
I get it. I mean, kicking game-winning field goal, fantastic, but pick something else.
He's got to have kicked others. I mean, I know he wasn't like as good for us as he has been in his professional career, but like, there's got to be other Will Lutz plays, right?
Yeah, I don't know if any were just like game winners or just like big. I don't know, but he did say that he's always really calm on the sideline and just doesn't take it all too seriously. That's his way of approaching it is to not be too serious. And so he said when he got up to the kick, whoever was holding the ball, he said, "So how are we going to celebrate this win?" That's what he said before he even lined up to kick the ball.
Well, dude, I like it.
Dude, chill out, man, chill out. We gotta get it. So yeah, so I guess that's what it was. Number, I don't know if it's even worth going to all these, but we've already gone more than halfway. So number 2 was Ellington's run at Neyland that kind of solidified the win for us.
But that was an awesome run.
Yeah, the run is just sexy. So it deserves to be a play no matter what happened. It was just a very, very sexy play. He said he knew, because obviously they interviewed him afterwards. He said he knew that if they scored on that play, whether it was him or somebody else, because it was not a designed run, there was an option play that he knew if we scored, we were winning the game. Like that, it was literally that's the game winner type thing. Another one of those where they've been running the play all game, and another one where he's like, I knew we had it as soon as the play snapped.
There's no way he could have known that he was going to run the way he ran because it was so magnificent.
But he also said, I still don't know how I did it.
Yeah, it's exceptional. I mean, you go back and you look at that and you're like, this is an athlete. I almost did it again.
This is a program of absolute just horrible history running all over an SEC team. Like just
right.
This is better. This is better. I'm not gonna make another Southern reference.
It was the straw that broke the camel's back for that.
This is better than that clip they have of the 2 Florida players defending against each other.
Yeah. Because it was our player that just made them miss. I mean, it was like he went insane. I don't know what happened in his brain, but he just turned into a football god for a single play.
Yeah.
And it went off.
Yes, he
broke them.
Dick the hell out of that play. It was awesome. And the final one, I think you can't have the top 5 plays of Georgia State history without having a win over Georgia Southern. And this was Penny Hart's game-winning touchdown against them. A pass from Manning. Once again, they have Manning do the little talk about it. And what I did, like Manning said, I'm proud to say that I never lost a game to Georgia Southern. I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I do feel like
it's true.
Our big play should have come from that 34-7 win. That's where the big top 5 play, if we're going to include Southern there. Yeah.
I mean, points in Connor Manning's column that he might just be our best quarterback ever.
That was some of the talk on Pay Their Talk. Is he the greatest quarterback of all time for Georgia State, or is it Nick? Is Dan in the conversation? I think if Dan had finished healthy, maybe he's a stronger argument. But what do you guys think?
But he didn't, so you can't say if he did.
So who do you think the best quarterback we've ever had is?
I'd have to look at the stats.
Really?
I think off the cuff answer before stats.
Go about stats.
Dan is the most fun quarterback I've ever watched at Georgia State. Maybe beyond.
Yeah,
Maybe beyond. He's a very entertaining quarterback
I agree.
and successful on top of it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that completely. But I will go with you as well as saying that he was unable to finish his season at 100% or even 90%. So I'm not sure if we can count him as the best.
Right.
What do you say, Tim?
I mean, I can't without stat. No, I'm just kidding. I would say most talented, Dan. But what's the question? Most
Best quarterback, GOAT.
Just
best
best.
quarterback?
Greatest of all time.
I don't know. Best. I don't know.
Whatever that means to you, man. Like that's totally subjective too. You know?
Connor, he won the bowl game at the end.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Arbuckle.
He's
All
exciting.
There was something about Arbuckle that just provided something refreshing, and if Connor had come before Arbuckle and like achieve what he did before Nick did, maybe I would feel differently. But after having just done so horribly for so long prior to Nick, it was just and Nick was the winner of that one win season against Abilene Christian we just talked about. But there was just something about him in that second season of his that really made me I don't know. I'm going to say Nick. I'm going to say Nick with the caveat that if Dan was healthy, it may be Dan the entire time.
I mean, I think it's Dan.
Yeah.
So
I
that's like an asterisk.
know this is going to piss you off, specifically David, but to me Arbuckle is reminiscent of like a Cam Newton, where he's kind of a bigger guy and like he's got an arm, he can make those throws and it's beautiful when he does, but then he also like put his shoulder down and will like run like a tight end and like just plow through people.
But I think we can all agree that Dan has far better fashion sense than Cam Newton.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Cam Newton entertains us all with his Medea outfits.
Do we know where he's going? Who he's playing for next season?
New England, I'm sure, right?
I would not imagine he's going to New England whatsoever.
I'm sure they love that kind of dressing in New England.
New England's kind of the island for misfit toys.
Puts that character on the team. It would be interesting to see Belichick and what he did with Cam Newton as far as like all the peripheral type stuff. But, all right.
He told Chris Paul he's a fish out of water as a free agent.
Fish out of water. All right, there we go. All right.
So he's not playing anywhere apparently.
There are well, neither is Jameis Winston either.
That's surprising.
He'll find a home.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They all will. They both will.
I don't. Cam. The whole reason you get rid of him though is because like he's a play away, man. He's going to be done very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can say the same for Jameis Winston as well.
No. I mean, Cam Newton has taken some hits in his career.
Huge hits.
Yeah. He's going to be.
He's a big boy though. He can take hits.
Well, that's the problem. He's a big boy. Falling hurts worse.
Yeah. All right. There's two more things I want to talk about before we close this one up. I think we've gone a little long already.
Yeah, probably.
There was some.
We're all so lonely. Talk to me.
There's still last call, and there was still the restroom between now and then. So,
yeah, I gotta pee.
So came out today. There will be a hour-long documentary coming out at the end of the month. 10 years of football at Georgia State. Our city, our time. Actually, you know what? It comes out April 23rd. Is that the same day as the draft? It's coming out the same day as the NFL draft?
Sounds like a Georgia State thing. Yeah.
It feels like it. Yeah. But they put out the first chapter, about 12 minutes of it, out earlier today. I got a chance to watch it. Did either of you, Ryan?
I watched it.
You did watch it?
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. It was a little teaser, right? I mean, you just get like the start.
Right.
You didn't really get the start. You get like the pre-start. Right?
I think it was very high production value. I definitely was into it from the very beginning. I did learn a few things that I either didn't know or already killed the brain cells that learned that prior to. I thought it was really good.
Is it Mark Hogan playing on a field with hornets and broken glass?
Yes.
The Yellow Jackets,
Hornets.
the field.
Yellow Jackets. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Is he magnanimous? Nope, can't do it. Just can't do that word.
Apparently not.
Magnanimous, whatever the hell Bill Curry always said. Magnanimous. Jesus Christ!
I think
Stop me.
I think leave that one alone right now.
End this. Kill it.
Well, one thing I thought was weird before the preview came out, or the first chapter came out, you got to register that you want to watch it because they're going to stream it live on this April 23rd. I don't know if they're trying to figure out which streaming package they need to buy, like how many people are watching it or something. But I think it may be cool when it comes out that maybe we do either an open Zoom call or just get a chat opened up and we can all live chat during the whole thing while we watch it together. That could be kind of fun. I don't know.
They should do it on Zoom. They can have some porn play.
You really want porn?
Jesus,
play, don't you?
God, Tim, why don't you just hack the podcast?
Ooh, good idea.
But I don't want to do any spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen the first chapter. I thought maybe we may even do a chapter breakdown later on into the off season. Watch each little chapter and do something. I don't know. Thought even maybe
cool.
Maybe even once this whole thing is over with, maybe everybody get everybody together and play it at some bar where we can all get together and watch it and listen and everything as well, socialize. But there was some cool stuff. I didn't realize that Bill Curry's wife had a PhD from Georgia State.
Yeah.
Cool. Kind of cool. The whole chapter is about just like getting the ready for having football and the whole Patton not wanting to have it and the pressure to start it. And apparently Curry was even involved before he was coach, before Dan Reeves was involved. He was still on the radar for being involved.
But it's cool that Dan Reeves was involved too. You know, that's cool.
Well, which is a total fluke. It was literally an assistant to Patton was at a barber when Dan Reeves walked in, and they got talking about it there. So that is a spoiler, I guess. But what did I have to say? The one thing that I guess I would have liked about it a lot better is, so this whole episode is about that building the program. And the next episode is about the first game / the first season. This episode should have ended with the players taking the field at the Georgia Dome and just like
running out
a hard cut.
Yeah.
A hard cut of the players running out and then cutting it. But I think they're doing this as an hour-long hour-long movie, not a series of 6 different chapters, even though they broke it up that way. So I don't know. Maybe it doesn't play well to that once you see everything else. But I thought that would be a way big cliffhanger for the whole thing. But you see the players running out and everyone crazy in the crowd and everything.
Yeah, I thought one of the interesting things that probably needs to get fact-checked was apparently we have the most Fortune 500 CEOs with Tech and Georgia combined. We still have more.
They're doers. They're not innovators. You know, Tech's a bunch of like nerdy engineers sitting in some basement in Houston
playing board games,
figuring out how to tell if there's a piece of zinc in this Mars rock or something. And Georgia's, I don't know what they do over there, but yeah, that was one of the things they said. I drink, yeah. But out of Georgia State has the most number of Fortune 500 CEOs.
Well, I mean, our MBA program, specifically, like, you know, post grad, is one of the top in the nation, especially bang for your buck.
Yeah, I wonder if you take out any Georgia State CEO that has their undergrad from Georgia or Georgia Tech and how it looks then.
It's different, yeah.
But they have the chapters listed. There's 6 chapters. So the first one was obviously before there was football. Then there's chapter 2, first game, first season. Chapter 3, validation, which I'm assuming is going to be immediately following and just saying, see, we can have football. And then chapter 4 goes straight to home. It's a picture of Georgia State Stadium. So they go from the end of that first season, skip how many years, and go to, look, we have a new home. Which is probably the right way to go about it.
Fair.
Nothing happened. Nothing to see here.
Yeah. And then
I wonder if we're gonna get some sweet Foo Fighters action.
I don't know, because they go straight from that to effectively wrapping the whole thing up. Chapter 5 is Panther Prose, and they've got on the website they got a picture of Albert Wilson, but that's going to be nothing but just a
Will Lutz, just
the entire
on repeat.
Yeah.
Well, what's good about Will Lutz is he's really stayed connected to the program in a way that others haven't. I mean, I've seen Albert Wilson at events, and that's really good. And I've seen him make posts on social media and stuff like that. But it really feels like Will Lutz is trying to stay connected and is like a Panther.
Isn't Will from here?
I don't know.
I think he's from here, and Albert's from Florida. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but so like when Will gets home, he comes here.
Right.
Yeah, he does have stupid house in stupid Louisiana and stupid New Orleans. But and then chapter 6, the final chapter, is called The Future, because there's not much further way to go than up from here. So
what do you talk about? Like, are we going to get some insight, you think?
I can't imagine there be any insight whatsoever at all.
They're like, AAC.
Yeah, but by the time April 23rd goes around, maybe there won't be an AAC. We hated that.
That would be weird. Our goal is now like dissolved.
Just still have football. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Please.
Speaking of football, it's our one stat of the week.
Yeah,
how many days until college football maybe?
Tim, and that's your stat, right?
Kicks off. We're at 144.
Wait, how can you put a number on that right now?
Well, when it's scheduled. Until we're told otherwise, it's scheduled.
Until Google doesn't do it, it's a real stat. 144 days.
All right, 144. I predict it'll be 7 days less next time we talk. All right, the next.
Wait, but how many games have we shot 3-pointers in a row?
And yeah, whatever it was.
Where are we at with that?
we're over and done with that for now. It'll be interesting to find out whether we continue that stat or not next season. All right, one last thing before we close out and head to last call. I'm going to throw this one back to Tim again because you brought it up, and I had no idea what it was. And so I want
TBT.
I want you to explain it for everybody, what it is and why we should care and what we got to do to support it.
All you need to know is that it's former Panther basketball players
What is former Panther basketball players? 2015,
17, 19 former players. We don't know all the players yet.
So there's a tournament.
It's going to be a tournament. It's
a basketball tournament coming up this year, hopefully.
Maybe. We don't know.
And there are a variety of teams playing in it,
64 teams, but not everyone that applies gets in.
Right. So that's where the listeners and the fans need to come into play.
They need fan support to show that people actually care about the team.
Right? Wait, but so it's only 3 players though, right? So are they on a team with other players?
No. I'll let you go, Tim.
No. It's a full team of players.
Of Georgia State players.
Of Georgia State players only.
I thought it was just 3 of us. Okay, all right.
No, there's another tournament. I know what you're thinking. There's another tournament like that with 3 players. This is a $2 million winner-take-all tournament.
I think I'm more confused now than I was.
So there's this tournament, and you've got a bunch of former college players and former NBA players who register to play for it, and it's based off of fan support on whether they get in or not. And so
it's not just the players; it's the team.
So there is a team comprised of
basketball alumni,
former Georgia State basketball players. It doesn't have to be all Georgia State basketball players, but they have chosen to all play together. And so it's some of the legends of the past several years. You said 2015 through 2019?
2015, 2018, and 2019.
Yeah. And so they're coming together to play. They need some people to register and show their support for the team.
Yep.
And I think one clever thing with the marketing strategy of this tournament is you register as a fan of a certain team. If that team wins the whole thing, as a fan, you get paid.
You do.
Not a lot.
You do. No. I mean, right now there's 63 supporters for the Panther family, Georgia State alumni team.
Right.
So the fan share is $3,175.
Yeah, it's like $50 a piece or something like that.
Yeah, but
So I just
support the
pulled
team.
it up, and it says so Panther Family is the team, right?
Yep.
I think I only see.
By the way, Connor Manning, Panther family. Go ahead.
I only see Ryan Green.
The players aren't fully announced yet.
So what is this thing, man? That's so confusing.
It is a little confusing for the website, I agree, but it's basically just think about it this way. There's going to be a private basketball tournament going on. They'll be comprised of several Georgia State players, and they'll be playing for a $2 million kitty.
All right.
Basically. It ends in Dayton, Ohio. Don't know why. And it's usually funded by a current NBA player.
So, yeah, so that's something that's cool that we need to check out and hopefully support. I
just want sports.
TheTournament.com.
What a great domain to have, too, like The Tournament. That could be anything. That could be cornhole, just TheTournament.com. But no, it's this basketball tournament. So, all right, guys. Then we can go ahead and close this one out for this week and head into last call. You got anything else before we do that?
No, I got to pee. I'm pretty happy this is going to be over.
Oh, yeah, me too. My legs are shaking.
I'm fine.
Well, thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to Ryan. Thank you for Tim for being here. Check out Last Call on Patreon for our final drunken and unfiltered thoughts of the week where anything goes. Available now to all Patreon members and available for free on Friday. To everyone else, just go to patreon.com/stateofatlanta. Talk to y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.